talk about all this right now. Joining me, Carl Higbee, Donald Trump supporter and a former Navy SEAL. Mark Preston, executive editor of CNN Politics. Theron John, Hillary Clinton supporter and former Obama campaign official during his 2012 campaign. Alice Stewart, CNN political commentator, former communications director for Senator Ted Cruz's presidential campaign. And Ed Espinoza, a Hillary Clinton supporter and head of Progress, Texas. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Mark Preston. So, we heard from Kellyanne Conway this morning, what she said right there, leave it all on the field. You got to be unleashed. So it sounds like, even though we heard from Sarah Murray just now, he will be tonight speaking from prepared remarks. Unleash Trump. What's that going to look like?
Well, you know, it's interesting.
Yesterday.
Really, it was going to look much different than we've seen. Look, Kellyanne Conway, we were talking a lot about Steve Bannon, who is basically the head of the campaign right now. However, Kellyanne Conway plays a very important role right now for Donald Trump. She's very well known in establishment politics. She is a very good pollster. She's a very good communicator. If anyone has not seen the interview that she did this morning on New Day, you should watch it, because it just goes to show how she is going to try to make Trump comfortable with himself, at the same time giving him enough rope to try to do what he wants to do. The bottom line is Kellyanne Conway's job is going to be make Trump feel comfortable to go out and sell his message. At the same time, though, that he will then turn to her for advice. And believe me, he's going to need a lot of advice on the road, because she's going to be traveling with him everywhere he goes to try to keep him on message.
No question, it seems that Kellyanne Conway is the best messenger that Donald Trump has. I mean, we saw that prior to her promotion, and we saw that this morning. But Carl, when it comes down to it, a new Donald Trump, if he wasn't unleashed already, then what was the Donald Trump that we were watching to this point? You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. And what we saw, Donald Trump was the 100-watt light bulb shooting rays in every single direction. Now, Kellyanne Conway is going to take him and make him a 100-watt laser so he can cut steel.
And you're confident in that?
I'm confident in that.
And there's hope in that.
There is hope in that, and I'm very confident. And also the fact that Donald Trump, he had a massive slip in the polls, and I think it was because he was trying to bridge the gap between establishment and his true base. And now when you bring in people like Steve Bannon, who's the co-author of Clinton Cash, he is not afraid to Hillary Clinton. He's the guy that Trump needs to get on the offense right now. And
to Carl's point, Carl actually acknowledges that he dipped in the polls, that he's dipped in the polls. Wow, that's amazing, Alice. Kellyanne Conway this morning, she also talked about the polls, and she had something very interesting to say about being down in the polls. She said it's a motivator. She actually said, I think it helps us to be a little bit behind, and we are. It lights a fire under us. It reminds us of what we need to do to get this done. Good spin, but do you agree?
Absolutely, it does. Being behind gives you a little street fighting enthusiasm.
A little bit behind, or 14 points in battleground states behind.
Yeah, let's just say she answered that question a lot better than Michael Cohen. And let me just say this, Kellyanne Cohen brings a lot to the table. A couple things, in her background, her experience, she can tell Donald Trump who to attack and who to attract. She understands we need to attack Hillary Clinton for her support of Obamacare and her ideas to expand it, her failures in terms of foreign policy and her inability to recognize radical Islamic terrorism, and also the need to attract women, first and foremost. That is one of her areas of expertise. Romney was 10 points down in the gender gap with Obama, and McCain even more so. It's incumbent upon Trump to bridge the gender gap, and she can help do that quite a bit. And also independence. She understands the need to reach out to independents and bring them into the fold. Steve Bannon, on the other hand, is just the opposite. I mean, he comes to the table with his finger on the Trump scale from the very beginning of him walking down the escalator. He is very extreme on his views, and the Breitbart vote, we've got that. That is hay in the barn. We need to expand the message. Hopefully, Donald will listen more to Kellyanne than Bannon, and if so, I think we're in the right direction.
Alice, now that Kellyanne's on the bandwagon, you're sounding pretty pro-Trump right now.
Let's just say he couldn't have made a better choice in bringing not just her experience on polling, but if she's going to be traveling with him and have his ear day in and day out, that is certainly a positive sign. But at the end of the day, we all know that Trump will be Trump, and that is what got him to where he is. But we're in a different electorate now. We're not preaching to the GOP choir. This is a general election electorate, and he needs to broaden his appeal quite a bit.
Well, and Edward, as Alice is saying, the person they need to be attacking from Kellyanne's perspective, from Alice's perspective, is focused squarely on attacking Hillary Clinton. He did that last night. He went after her last night, again, on her stamina. Listen to this.
She doesn't really do that much. She'll give a speech on teleprompter, and then she'll disappear. I don't know. She goes home and goes to sleep. I think she sleeps.
Yeah.
But
takes weekends off.
I guess she takes a lot of weekends off. She takes a lot of time off. And, you know, that's frankly, it's really not fair.
What is he getting at, Edward?
It's basically code for saying that she doesn't have stamina for this. In saying those things, what he's trying to imply is that the little lady can't hack it. And that's something that's going to maybe appeal to the base that he's already got. But anyone with any thinking person is going to see right through it and know what he's trying to get at. Incidentally, I think Trump is older than Clinton. So
yeah, he's 2 years
I'm
older.
not sure where. Right, so I don't know where the stamina argument, if he really has a whole lot on her on that. But the other thing is that anyone who's watched this Clinton campaign and prior Clinton campaigns knows that she is a workhorse. She doesn't take days or weekends or nights off. She is out there on the road hitting the pavement every single day. I don't know what campaign he's watching, but it's not the one that everybody else is seeing.
Theron, false allegation, conspiracy theory or not, negative stuff like this, his negative branding has worked in the past. Are you concerned now this unleashed Trump, if he focuses it squarely on Hillary Clinton like this, a stick?
Well, what this recent move from Donald Trump shows is that he's just really rearranging the deck on the sinking Titanic. I mean, with 82 days left to go in your campaign, he's on his third campaign manager. And I've been there. I mean, when you're less than 90 days, this is when the American people are really starting to pay close attention to this election. I think the attacks on Hillary Clinton shows that Donald Trump has no message that really is going to resonate for him in battleground states. I mean, let's not forget. Mitt Romney got 206 electoral votes. This is all about the Electoral College. If he's losing right now in key battleground states like North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio and others, I don't really see his pathway to victory. Now, this new unleashed Donald Trump, and then we're going to scale him back. Listen, Donald Trump has doubled down on doing what he knows best, and that is attacking people and being a very divisive candidate. I think this teleprompter sort of stunt is only going to work for a day or two. Next week this time, he'll be insulting more people, more demographic groups, and I just think it's not going to work for him going into November.
Well, Alice, I want to get your take as a woman. What about this stamina, as Edward put it, a code for the little lady can't hack it? How does that help? Do you think it helps?
No. I mean, clearly absence makes the heart grow fonder with Democrats and Hillary Clinton. She's doing well in the polls, and her failure to hold rallies isn't hurting her. I think there are plenty of other valid issues that Donald Trump can attack her on that are going to resonate with independent voters, and it's not going to alienate women voters. And that's what he needs to do. It needs to be focused on key issues, national security, Obamacare, and certainly we can go on and on about her exposing classified information on an unsecured server and her inability to answer questions on Benghazi. Those are valid issues and talking points that resonate with people. Leave her physical health out of it. I think there are more substantive issues that are more valid and that will resonate with voters.
Focus is the key word there, Alice, that you said. Focus. And focusing on, Mark, the next 2 weeks. We've got 82 days till the election, but the next 2 weeks. What realistically do you think Trump can accomplish in making up the problem in the polls in the next 2 weeks before Labor Day, especially when I keep sticking on this. The fact that Bannon, he brings on, has never run a campaign before, and he's brought in 82 days before the election?
Right. So a couple things. One is, it's really funny. During this campaign, we always say the next 2 weeks are the most critical 2 weeks. I would argue the next 2 weeks are the most critical 2 weeks. And here's the reason why, though. Here's the reason why. Because if Donald Trump can use the next 2 weeks while people are at their beach, while kids are getting ready for school, while people are not...
People are at their beach?
Yeah, well,
I like that. I like the thought of that.
Beach, not my
beach, the truth of that, but
I'll be sitting here with you, unfortunately. No, but look, the bottom line is if he can use the next 2 weeks basically to practice, to stay on message, which takes him into September, which takes him to really the most critical moment of the campaign, will then be that first presidential debate. If they can use the next couple of weeks to have him try out themes, to work on themes, to hone his message, take that into September, and then we go into that first presidential debate the third week in September, that's when things are really going to matter.
Also, Donald Trump needs to not so much worry about directly attacking Hillary, but just make questions arise about Hillary. Because it's been, what, 282 days since Clinton's held a press conference? She held like a pseudo one a month ago. But make her answer questions. When she starts answering questions, the focus comes off Donald Trump's negatives and onto Hillary Clinton's negatives, which are very, very high right now.
I want you to try this theme on for size, as Preston was just saying. He can practice things. Try this practice. Carl, if he's made one promise in this election, it has been, I will build the wall. He says it over and over again. The crowds come to his rallies in order to be there for the moment when they can yell, who's going to build it? Mexico's going to build it. 100%, he says. It seems that promise might be changing a little bit. Listen.
We are going to build a great border wall. We're going to build the wall. The wall is going to be built.
It's going to be a big wall. It's going to be a beautiful wall.
We will build the wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall.
How certain does the wall get built? How certain does Obamacare get repealed?
You can never say 100%, but I'm telling you pretty close to 100% the wall gets built. We need it.
Now it's not 100%, Carl.
So
this, I mean, we say this, we put these things together, and it is, you know, fun to look at. But that's really actually serious. This is his one main promise.
And I think Donald Trump is going to do everything in his power to build that wall. But what he didn't anticipate was the incredible backlash he's getting from within the establishment Republican Party. He's worried about the 2017 congressional leader saying, no, we're not going to fund this. That's what he's thinking about right now. He's like, look, I'm going to push as hard as I can to build that wall. But if I can't get the funding for it, I can't do it. He'll figure out a way, but he'll try to get Mexico to pay for it.
Right.
Go. I was going to stop.
Like, I was going to say, look, Donald Trump's campaign has been based upon the fact that I am the smartest, I can get things done. Get out of my way, I'm going to steamroll you. If his concern now, Carl, is 2017, then it seems like there is going to be a change in his campaign.
There might be some reality setting in, Edward.
And why is he worried about Congress not paying for it if his whole premise was Mexico's going to pay for it? What this all comes back to is that it doesn't matter who's running the campaign, you always still have the same candidates. And no matter who's helping the candidate, the question is, can the candidate help himself from saying things off script that don't make any sense? Can he stay on script when people put him there? He didn't do it at the convention. And can he do it in the future? The answer is no. And when you have to compare that to the alternative, which is Hillary Clinton, no wonder she's leading in the polls. She's a much more disciplined candidate with a disciplined campaign, and it's really, he's out of his league.
Well, the best answer to that is, can he stay on messages? You can never say 100%, but close to 100%. Pretty close. Maybe that's how we should just answer from now on. Guys, thank you so much. Great to see you. Thank you all.